Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Learning Kitchen Live. My name is Colleen and I'm one of the dietitians here at Community Servings. As always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at Boston Scientific for supporting Learning Kitchen Live. And just a reminder to anyone who may be watching at home that a link to the recipe will be posted in the comments section, as well as a survey, so that we can get your feedback about what you'd like to see on Learning Kitchen Live. So this week we are going to be making some very easy make-at-home granola bars. They're only 5 ingredients, and the thing I really like about this recipe is it's very versatile, so you can kind of customize it to your own preferences at home. A lot of granola bars that you might get from the store or that are commercially produced contain some excess sodium or preservatives and just some other additives that really might not be necessary. So the great thing about this recipe is you know exactly what's going into your snack. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with our quick and easy make-at-home granola bars. So I have 5 ingredients here. I'm just going to add them all together and mix them up and then put them in the oven. I have 3 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. Great source of fiber. It's a great whole grain, so that's always something great to include when you're having a snack or something that you want to hold you over. I also have half a cup of chocolate chips. You could switch that up with including like some shredded coconut if you wanted to do raisins or dried fruit or sunflower seeds. There's lots of options to give it a different crunch other than the chocolate chips. I have 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. You could also use honey, but maple syrup is actually a little bit lower in calories and total sugar per volume than honey, so that's why we're using that. I have 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter. And I just bought the natural peanut butter in the store. You could get the kind that is ground in the store, or if you get the kind that's processed like I did, just like this, it does separate a little bit, but the nutrition is pretty similar. If you have a nut allergy at home, you could always substitute this with sun butter, which is made from sunflower seeds. Or if you just wanted to switch it up and maybe do almond butter or walnut butter, a different type of nut butter to give it a different flavor, that's always an option for you too. Lastly, I'm just going to crack open 2 eggs, and this will help everything to kind of combine nicely and hold it all together when it goes in the oven. Great alternative for eggs if you have an egg allergy would be to use flax eggs, which are made from ground flaxseed and just a little bit of water, but it really mimics the consistency and the texture of eggs very well. So it's a good substitute for baking if you're trying to look for a vegan alternative, or like I said, if you have that allergy at home. So all we're going to do is mix this all together until the eggs are nicely incorporated and everything seems to be well combined. I mentioned earlier that some of the commercially produced granola bars have a lot of preservatives in them, one of them being sodium or salt. So I just did a little bit of research on like Cliff bars or Nature Valley bars. A lot of them have close to 200 milligrams of sodium per bar, whereas with these, by the time you cut them into the individual bars, you're getting about 50 or 60 milligrams of sodium. So you're really saving yourself on some of those extra preservatives. All right, so now that that's all combined, we're just going to spray our 9x9 baking dish with some nonstick spray and put everything in the oven. What I love about this snack is it's high in protein from the nut butter, and it's also high in fiber from the oats. So those are two things that I always look for in a snack, something high in fiber and something high in protein, because those are nutrients that are going to fill you up and keep you feeling full for a longer period of time. So this is a great like mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack to hold you over. Right. So now that I've got everything in here, I'm just gonna press it all down so that it gets nice and condensed. We want these to hold together well once they're baked so that when you cut them apart, they hold their shape into a nice granola bar form. I've preheated my oven for 350. These will take maybe 12 to 15 minutes depending on your oven. But that's really all there is to it. So feel free to experiment at home with whatever ingredients you prefer. If you want to do a different type of nut butter, if you wanted to switch it up with dried fruit, or whatever your favorite additives would be. So we'll go ahead and put this in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, and then we'll be right back with you. And since this is Learning Kitchen Live and I don't want you to be wasting your time waiting for the oven to cook things, I've already prepared a batch ahead of time. So this is what they look like when they're all finished. And you can see they've got a nice golden brown texture on the top. They're nice and compact, so should be able to hold their shape pretty easily. But this makes about 16 bars, so I'm just gonna cut into 16 squares. And then you've got a good snack here that you could use for the week. All right. So trickiest part, getting them out, but here you can see this is what they look like. When they're all finished, you've got your quick, easy, make at home, only 5 ingredient granola bar. So thank you again for joining us this week on Learning Kitchen Live, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you for next week's episode.